Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane has announced Xolile Nqatha as acting Health MEC. Mabuyane announced earlier that he had fired Sindiswa Gomba from the position. Gomba appeared in court last week over alleged multi-million rand corruption arrangements for the funeral of former President Nelson Mandela back in 2013. Ongama Mtimka is a political analyst. He joins us now. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Ongama. So there have been several calls for Gomba to be sacked since the not only embarrassing launch of the medical scooters projects, but of course these allegations of misappropriation of funds over the late statesman funeral. So is it too little too late, as some political parties are saying?
Well, I doubt, because unless one believes that in the first place she should have never she should have never assumed a leadership position, given the fact that this was always lingering somewhere, the allegations that the NPA has now acted on. Otherwise, I think the action is swift enough given the timing, and I think that this was an acid test for the Eastern Cape, given its stance that it is holding with respect to the Secretary General of the party, that the step-aside rule has got to be applied promptly. So here it was given its own test, and it's been able to actually act according to the expectations of stakeholders. I must say, Tsepiso, that one of the things that makes it easy is that this is not Gomba, while a senior politician, is not in the senior party structures in the province currently.
I suppose one would say credit to the Premier himself, given that he actually wrote a letter to the President requesting that there be an investigation into some of these matters.
Yes. So you see, the challenge with the ANC is that it focuses a lot on legality when it comes to determining whether its comrades stay or vacate office. In fact, even questions of legality are not that strong a guide too. So truth be told is that when the instance of not performing according to expectations when it came to COVID-19, that was an opportunity if holding office in the ANC depended on performance. So I suppose that's why people would talk about acting a little too late. But the ANC does need to reassert its values, so that what drives who gets to have office is more a function of who has upheld the values of the party as reflected through the eye of the middle and organizational renewal, more than it depends on whether or not people have been charged, even those that are facing allegations of corruption.
Now, Ongama, let's go back then to your original question that should there have been questions about her suitability for this position? And I think it's a very important one. There's not only questions around impropriety over the funeral of former President Nelson Mandela, but there has been a lot of allegations around PPE, and we mentioned the scooters project. So as a character, as a leader, if you judge her performance, should she really have been there?
Well, the allegations were dropped in the period leading up to her assumption of office, something which Mabuyane used today to say there was no cloud hanging over her. That's what I'm critiquing, that this much focus on legality over values of the party results in the ANC sometimes, in fact, very often, appointing people who are facing legal risks into office, while it is known that sooner or later they may be charged. And that's the case whether you're looking at the national top six of the party, or you're looking at those that are holding powerful positions at the NEC, or in provincial structures. So I would be unfair if I focused on her alone, because this is an entrenched culture in the ANC.
And it's a good thing that you say that, because finally, Ongama, I would like you to look at the House Department of Gauteng, for instance, as a good example, and how the President's announcement that there will be performance contracts and municipalities will be capacitated, including provincial governments, to ensure that professionals professionals are put in those positions. What changes then need to be made?
You see, the administrative part of government has already had some monitoring and evaluation frameworks which are built into performance management of the administrators. Where the problem lies is in managing the performance of political heads of departments, which would be MMCs at a local level, MECs provincially, and at a national level, the ministers. The culture of the ANC doesn't lend itself to a performance-based evaluation of politicians. So you need to change the politics of the ruling party first and make sure that people rise to office on the basis of their track record in government rather than on the basis of the strength of the alliances that they have within the party.
All right, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Ongama Mtimka is a political analyst.